Morning, Kumla Black Gemara. Today is afternoon Zion. I was just told it's the midpoint of Masechta Sanhedrin. Okay, we're going through the Zion mitzvahs b'nei Neach, and we're up to now. Amar Rabbi Yosef, we're going to talk about which of these 7 mitzvahs do the goyim incur punishments, and for them, punishments is death sentence. We already had in more about Bakama that the goyim don't keep the Zion mitzvahs b'nei Neach anymore. And there's this lashon the Amad v'hitiron. Anyway, let's see more here. Amar Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef said, Amar Rav. This is about 9 lines from the top of the page. Rabbi Yosef said in Yeshiva of Rav, they said, "Our sholosh mitzvahs b'nei Neach. Only 3 out of these 7 does a ben Noah get killed for. Which ones? Al gilu al gesher simen, al gilu al royas, gimel royas, and shina shvichas damim, for immorality, for murder, and al brichas Hashem, for blasphemy." Masculine association is bishlem shvichas. I understand why shvichas damim. It says shayfer dama adam, but adam. It says that if you spill our blood, is damei shavar boy. Okay, it spells out what the punishment is. But Elohanach Menolu, the other 2, how do you know that they deserve punishment by death? Is it because they equated to Shvichas Damim? Then I feel cool nami. Why those 2? They're all the 7 mitzvahs. And Imashum Israboyim ish, and if you can tell me, because it says in the pasuk by immorality, ish, Shaib Salih like says ish, the first ish is a yid, and the second ish is for a goy. Avodah nami is Rabbi. So why don't you call Avodah Zorah? Avodah Zorah also it says you should say to Eden ish, yid mizar lamelech. Says ish as well. So Moshe, if it's ish, there should be another one incorporated. Elo says you're right. I'll correct it. In the Yeshiva of Rav, they used to say al arba mitzvah b'nei Neach, 4 mitzvahs, including al avodas kachavim, which we just said b'nei Neach. So the Gemara, you tell me avodas chama goy get killed. So now let's look at the Gemara back and forth. A minute ago they say why not the goy, and now that you tell me the goy is included. A goy is included. I mean avodas zorah is included. But Tanya we learned by avodas kachavim comes avodas zorah. Dvarim sheben shalom amisnele. Those aspects of avodas zorah that in the Jewish court the yid would get killed for. Ben Noach muzalein. Ben Noach only warned on it. Sounds like azari hin misaloi. There is no misa by avodas zorah. Around Yitzchak, the famous saying azhara shalehen zuhi misasan. That by us a warning, you don't get malchus unless the Torah spells out misa. But by them, a warning the 7 mitzvahs, the punishment automatically is misa. However, Rav Yehuda, the cold Tamid Rav. So who's this Beinav before? There's the cold Tamid Rav is here backing up Rav Huna. They say al shava mitzvah not on the 3 mitzvahs or 4 mitzvahs, but on all 7 mitzvahs, a ben Noach gets killed. Goli rachmana b'chada v'hu adin l'kulam. The Torah only gal by 1. But the same thing applies to the rest as well. So all 7 of them are going to get killed for. There are more mitzvahs than the 7, but we'll see later in the Gemara that mitzvahs asay, kum asay, we don't count, we're only counting the lois asay. Says the Gemara, but they didn't, oh, you're right, the Rambam learns only but they didn't. But the Ramban learns just all the negative things about how not to be mazik somebody and all those things. But you're right, he didn't look at it and I couldn't say. But it's not just maybe it's not devolved on each individual. It's a tzibur thing. Like Gezel ben Noach Nedek, so one of the 7 mitzvahs Noach is stealing. You told me for stealing get killed. But Tanya, didn't we learn ala Gezel Ganev? The Gezel Gezel includes Ganev and a Gazel the Chenya Fastoya, stealing somebody's wife. So these are all categories of stealing. Talking about during war. The Chen Ki Ben, something similar. Ki Ben means it's not Mamish Gezel, doesn't fall under the umbrella of Gezel Ganev, but it's still similar enough that it's like Gezel. What are they? That's what we'll discuss in a minute. So this is as follows. Kusi be Kusi, a goy from a goy. A goy from a goy. Yeah, interesting that in our Gemaras, the censor always changes goy to kusi. Not from a goy. A goy to a goy, or kusi be so goy from a yid us. Or by Yisrael, bekusi mutter. A yid can steal from a goy. Now this is a very famous Rashi, so I'll just learn that's what Rashi says over here. Yisrael bekusi mutter, about 5 lines in the wide lines. Rashi says le sashig is a when it talks about you shouldn't plunder from your friend, it says friend. So the Isa by a Yid is only to another Yid. The loy goy. and not from a goy or kusi. Umidrabanan ikal amanda asam shel Hashem. So Rashi is a big chiddush. He's not the only one. Rashi holds here and Masat Sukkah and the other Rishonim that there's no issa to steal from a guy. And even when we say Midrabanan also, it's not because stealing is a problem. It's because Chil Hashem. There are other Rishonim who agree with Rashi that it's only Midrabanan, but not because of Chil Hashem. We don't want you to get the habit of stealing. You steal from a guy, tomorrow you steal from a yid. Once you don't respect someone else's items. However, the Rambam, there are many Rishonim that say that it's Asma Taida. If you look in Shulchan Aruch, you look in the Hilchos Gneva Vedas, it's clearly that you're not allowed to steal from a goy, and it says that Bein Yisrael, Bein Mekusi, which sounds like it's Mahatayda. We have in Ebenezer, there's a big machlekes in Ramo and Achrein the Shmuel, and that is that if you mekadesh a woman with stolen goods from a goy, if she's mukadeshes, and the Ramo says yes. Because all of this is a Chil Hashem. So if you, yeah, but the thing itself is yours, and then the he comes along and he brings all these Rishonim and he says Im yesh poisig echad, which is a pella. It's Rashi right here. Rashi and Sukkah. There are other Rishonim, but if I remember correctly, his lashon is Im yesh thing, but it's not the halach. So it's us. But what's fascinating is the Magen Avraham and Hilchos Sukkah. Magen Avraham has a whole discussion in Hilchos Sukkah, if you're allowed to build a sukkah in a public place, are you stealing from the public? And he says, and even if all the Eden would be Meichel, because Eden, they understand what sukkah is, but the guy might Meichel. So then he goes into Eden of Gzeil Zakum. And he says like this, the Magen Avraham says that stealing from a guy maybe is not, even if it's Osas, and even if it's Osas Mahatayda, it's not called a mitzvah baba veda. And you have to understand why not. If it's an Aveda to steal, it's not. Then he brings a shitta from the Yereim, or the Ben Yeruchim, one of those two, that says that even if stealing is mutter, knows like Rashi says, just Chil Hashem, but it's not lachem. So you can't be yaitze stealing where you has to be lecha or lachem. You can't be yaitze with it's not lachem. It's not yours, but it's not stolen. There is an opinion, the Meiri and some other Rishonim, and I think some people are Medayik as well, that if the goy keeps the Zayin Mitzvah B'nai Noach, then you're not allowed to steal from him. And if the goy does not does not steal, does not keep the Zayin Mitzvah B'nai Noach, then you're allowed to steal from him. It doesn't bring a marker for it, just the Meiri right here. But I think the marker would be the Gemara in Baba Kama, where the Lamates, where the Gemara they said that Amad V'Hitidan Memaino, it's over Yidas Mazik of goy's animal. Why you put it is because once they stop keeping the Zayin Mitzvah, they said, you know what, the money is hefker, which is then the same idea here. You're allowed to steal from them. But if they keep the Zayin Mitzvah, then it's a different story. Interesting. Yeah, I just told you. Okay, but it's not only Rashi. The other Shem hold the same thing. Okay, let's continue. It's like Ramon Shulchan Aruch in Ebenezer. There was a Chavches. Says he weiter. Let's get sorry. It says here, okay. So you tell me, for example, Ben Noah gets killed. It says here that a Yid Yisrael Bekusi a Yid from a guy's mutter. Sorry. Sorry. It says here that it's that it's osir, right? It says kusi Yisrael is osir. Doesn't say that they're oiven aveda. Osir sounds like it's an isser. You don't get killed for it. So the Gemara says no raya. He's asking a question. No raya. Why? If you tell me that a guy gets killed, you say the word chayiv, not osir. And my answer is no. But should the way we say what's saying the sefer, but so because mutter. There it's mamish mutter, and not potter, but mutter. It's mutter matay. The mutter with the rabbanon. It's only chil Hashem, which is a side issue. So the reisha osir. If it says osir, now interesting. Here's the idea that you can say mutter and still osir. It's mutter, right? To steal from a guy, but it's still not allowed because chil Hashem. So mutter means, but this aveda it doesn't exist. There might be another aveda extraneous to that, but that is, as far as this is concerned, it's mutter. It's toleration also. So you tell me because hechadis that you misnektani. You tell me whenever the chiv it says the word chayiv. Nektani reisha. It says al shvichas dam in the beginning of this brayz. It says al shvichas damim. Al shvichas damim. The Gemara keeps going back and forth. A minute ago you said that it should say chayiv. Now you're saying chayiv doesn't mean anything, prove anything. Al shvichas damim when it comes to murder, kusi b'so chayiv. Yisrael. What do you call it? So I'm sorry, forget. Since in the nation it says chayiv, so how can we change from chayiv to usr? Doesn't by murder definitely a chayiv misa. As you said before, Rabbi Yosef said even the three things of chayiv is murder. So why does it change from chayiv to usr? It does not show that it deliberately changed. So even though you give a good reason why it says usr, because it says by eat, it says mutter, but because he started off saying chayiv, it should have kept the chayiv as well. So he says no right whatsoever. Hasam heichelism. When it comes to murder, what else should they say? Listen, usher for a guy to steal, mutter for a yid to kill a guy is mutter. It's not true. Even though a yid does not get killed for killing a guy, it doesn't mean it's mutter. You're not gonna go killing goyim. Just that you don't get killed for it. So by yid, it has to say potter. Once it says potter by yid, you have no bread, but to say chayiv by a guy. Mashengi by stealing, because by yid it's mutter. Therefore, we say also by a guy. And don't bring it out the fact that it's chayiv. But then kusi it says that a kusi, if they fall into a pit, you don't have to help them out, but you're not allowed to throw them in. You're not allowed to kill. So it's awesome. Okay, then the Brayza said ki yotzeboy is geneva, gezeli, fastor, and ki yotzeboy. What else is similar? That's not included in that. A worker in the vineyard. We're talking about while I was working, you're allowed to. And even and if you're talking about Stamazay, he's working when he's not there. I mean, he's not picking the fruits right now, doing other things. Then Gezel mal you. It's mamish gezela. Why is only ki yotzeboy? Why doesn't it fall under Gezel of the Gnevas? So the Gemara Elam and a papa talking about less than a Shabbat pruta, and because it's less than a Shabbat pruta, therefore it's ki yotzeboy. There's no mitzvah hashava less than a Shabbat pruta. You tell me that a guy is stealing less than a pruta from a eater. Also, habar metchilu l'chayra yida doch meichel less than pruta people are meichel. The heater boss hachim achle, but side of b'shaitim is less lay. You're right, he's meichel. But first you stole it, and that already hurt. So that's the Isser. And therefore, he gets ki yotzeboy, includes that, and he gets killed for it. There's a big machlekes here. What's pshat pachas meshava pruta? Is pachas meshava pruta by yid is no gzeila? Let's say yid stealing meshava pruta. Is the word that it's mammon? It is mammon. As the Magi Mishnah says, it's chatzishir less than the pruta, and therefore you chayiv navos, you have no mitzvah hashava. Or is the pshat that less than pruta is not money? If a less pruta has no value, no money, why can't you steal it? Because you'll get into the habit of stealing, then tomorrow you'll steal more. So what is the inyan of less than pruta? And if you remember, we had a machlekes Rashi Taisus versus many other Rishonim. Rashi was a Taisus in beginning kedushin.
You can't retire.
Yeah, but if you remember this, it says there why a woman cannot be mekudesh less than pruta. The Gemara there's two versions of the Gemara. Isha pachas meshava pruta loy mekanya nafsha, or Isha pachas meshava pruta loy mekanya. Rashi said loy mekanya nafsha, which means really it should be a kinyan, but it's a zilzul. It's embarrassing, degrading. Taisus says less than pruta is not money. What do you mean? It's no kinyan here. Clear. So machlekes v'shainim. How do we view less than a pruta? Is there no money at all? But why can't you steal it because you get in the habit? Or it's money. No, but there's no hashava. The person's meichel. So it's very different. So a guy stop. Kusi, ki and they'll keep him and get him all you. But a guy from a guy, it's one thing a guy stealing from me, he is meichel. But a guy steals from a guy since what do you call it? Since they're not b'nei mechilin, they're not generally meichel. Therefore, this mamash gezela gets a bound. Sorry, somebody asking a question. So why is it ki yotzeboy l'chayda a guy from a guy is mamash gezela? By a yid, it's ki yotzeboy because he is meichel. Navas, it's the tsar, the 5 minutes, whatever it's he's aware, so he's meichel. A guy from a guy does no mechil at all, so it's mamash gezela. Mamash gezela. Sounds like that less than pruta is also money. So what's an example of you're holding back wages? It's not mamash gzeila, because if I take from you illegally, I didn't take the money from you illegally. You gave me your service, your time, and I owe you money. It's very different. The money sitting by me legally. I just owe it to you. It's a kusi because what do you call it? Kusi because you throw us a guy from a guy gave me us. You saw the kusi mutter. But a yid from a goy, since it's not Geneva, it's takamutu. So that's the key yitzabay, where we said in the Braisa, a goy is always also, but a yid is mutu. We're talking about holding back wages. Holding back wages. Okay, then you continue to yitzabay yifastay. My yid, and it says gana v'gazul yifastay ki yitzabay. What's the key yitzabay of yifastay? If a ben noyach set aside designated a shifcha for his eved, so they're not even technically married, and then he himself has relations from them, Nereg, he gets killed. Nereg, he gets killed. Why? Because exela. Even though it's not the ishus over here, it's not really ishus over here. It's only considered like an amadim chamor, like Zeus and so on and so forth. Nevertheless, it's considered like Geneva. That's the Kiyetzabay. So it's not Ishus, it's Geneva. Gave it to them, it's like Geneva. Kiyetzabay, the Shvichas Damim, Loi. What about Blaitanya? In the Braisa, when it says Kiyetzabay, it says Ganav Gazi Fastayr. Doesn't give a Kiyetzabay or Shvichas Damim. Why don't we give a Kiyetzabay Shvichas Damim as well? Amar Abaye, it doesn't mention. Amar Abaye says the reason why the Tana doesn't mention Akiyesh by Shechut Damim because there is no Akiyesh by. Either it's mutter or it's murder. The only time that murder is mutter is if you're a nidif, then you're allowed to take revenge. And if it's not a nidif, then it's us. So there's no Kiyesh by. Kiyesh by means it's not exactly the same thing, but it's still us. What's the Kiyesh by murder? Either you murder or it's not murder. The Gemara, I'm going to buy you. You want to find a case of Kiyetz by murder, we could find it. Tanya, if it would have said, it would follow the view of Yisrael Mishal. He says that the Tanya learned, if remember we learned before, if you can save yourself by wounding him, save yourself by wounding him, then you're chayiv for murder. Nedig Allah, you get killed. So that's a Kiyetz by of murder. You're allowed to defend yourself, but in this case, you shouldn't. and that would be a case where if a guy to a yid could have defended himself, it didn't, he'll get killed. But if a yid did this to a guy, if a yid could have defended himself against a guy, but instead of that, he just murdered the guy, you saw because he would be mutter. That's what we're trying to find. There's right cases where a guy one way is asa, but a yid that other way is mutter. So here you have a case where for you to be mutter if you yochel hatzul mechlebar. So why doesn't the Braisa mention it? So obviously the Braisa doesn't agree with this view. The Braisa holds that that everyone they can defend themselves by wounding somebody. You're still not a murderer, and therefore there's no chilik of goy to a yid or yid to a goy. It's the same thing. It's not considered murder. That's why the Braisa doesn't link to Yitzchak. There is another case of murder. Tracer says in Saita, that viewed when it says you shouldn't embarrass somebody, and that is considered because they turn from white red, and that is considered like murder. And Tracer there asks an interesting question. So why do we say that only 3 avedas yaharig val yaver? There's a 4th one. There's a hamal v'chaveda. So Tracer learns it's mamish murder, and what's Tracer's answer? You know why it's not counted there? Because it's not a footish in the Torah. That's his answer.
But once you start comparing to those kind of things, then the other.
Yeah, but Torah literally. Usually we say just it's like just a haggadah.
If you steal from someone, you make him an oniva. So you put it.
Yeah, but Torah doesn't say that. That Torah is clear. Otherwise, Torah's a question.
Like a step too far.
So Habonus panim is mamish considered murder.
It's a physical act. So
that could be a kiyetzer, but the Gemara could have said. A guy embarrassing you, but a embarrassing guy, you're not chayiv. But Gemara doesn't mention that. Not sure why this is safer. I got it. Because these are halachas. We spoke about this yesterday. That the dinim are different by a goy than by a yid. By a goy, One dime. By Yid you need 23. Ube'ed echad, and a single aid we need 2. Shaloi bahasra. You don't need warning. That's why a shaygig and a maze is the same. The whole reason you need warning is to know the difference of shaygig and maze, but it doesn't matter. Mid pi'ish and pi'isha. But interesting. You can have one aid, but it cannot be a woman. But if you look harder, by a guy, you can even have relatives. Right? You can go to all the Havdul, you can have relatives signing your documents.
There's only one egg, so
It could be your relative. That one aid could be your relative. There's a whole machlekes in Achra and in the Shreinim, but Achrein based on the Shreinim, can by a guy he testify about himself. He said, Adam, why can't you testify by yourself? So one opinion says because Adam Kodev Eitzel no, but he just said a Kodev can testify. So therefore, by us, a guy can testify himself and count it as Adis. Others say the problem is not because he's a Kodev himself. It's not called Adis. Adis is to talk about something else, someone else, not about yourself. Not Adis at all. Then a guy also. Bishmal says also a guy gets killed for a fetus, abortion. In the Achrein, they talk about the way when we say abortion. I mean, later on we'll talk about by eating not even until the baby's born, and kol chadashav. By a guy, when we say that even inside the womb, abortion is asa and yechai misa, is that only kol chadashav? In other words, 9 months, or even less than 9 months. And then there's an opinion. There's an opinion that even under 40 days, less than 40 days, when we say it's Maya Ba'alma, the other extreme, maybe it's still considered abortion because it could have turned into a thing. And Roiv, because Roiv, remember by Dini, first we go after Roiv, and Roiv, women who are pregnant less than 40 days, go to the full pregnancy. So interesting how the two extremes. Anyway, the Gemara continues. How you know that? Or it says he said what? Inside you have a little bit. So how do we know all this we just said? One die and one other. Everything's written in Lashon Yachid. So first of all, it says Edresh. I will demand. Then the pasuk says Miyad Kol Chaya, from every living thing. I feel a Shalei Basra. Everyone. I don't care if there's a warning. I don't care if the Shagib amazing. Edrashenu, we will demand umiyad ha'adam, from the hand of a person, adam is singular. Afilu be'ed echad, even one aid. Miyad ish, says the pasuk miyad ish. Achiv miyad ish, we say v'lo yisha, and achiv afilu kodev. Mishur Rabbi Shmuel for movement also for a fetus. My time Rabbi Shmuel it says in the pasuk shayfer dam ha'adam be'adam, even though it's inside the person. Dama yishafech. Ezo Adam Shehuba Adam, inside a person of Uber Shivme Imoy, a fetus inside the mother's womb. The Tanakama doesn't include Rabbi Shmuel as abortion of fetus. What about the Tanakama? Tana de Menashu. He says that this pasuk is used for something totally different. Till now we learned that every misa by goy is sayif chedef. He says kol misa amul bnei noach ein ela chenek. The misa that a ben noach gets is chenek. And how does he know that? From this very pasuk, he says, "Don't read shayver dam ha'adam ba'adam." That's how Bishmol reads it, right? You spill out the blood of a fetus inside a person. No, shayver dam ha'adam. Full stop. If you committed murder, then you read now. But adam dama yishafach. Then that person dama yishafach kibetzal kibasel adam. So but adam asayv lekov that is behachi. But adam dama yishafach, that will kill him in a way where the blood runs internally, not externally. A punishment that's only internally, which is strangulation. Now that's odd because we learned before that Sreifa also, remember we learned before, Sreifa has no Reishim, and Sreifa also you open the neck and you pour it down the molten lead. Where is the blood going on the outside? You say to be Shail Sayif, unless we can't imagine that a goy should be stricter than a Yid, because by Yid you get punished, let's say Sayif. For murder, and a goy, let's say, get saif as well, but a goy should get sreifa. Sreifa would be stricter according to everybody than saif, and we can't imagine there'll be harsher. So it has to be either saif or chenek, so therefore it must be chenek. Maybe that's the shot. Most Rav Nuna asks, Isha le mifke, they tell me that it seems like a woman's not included in all those laws. A woman's not included, but it says, ki yadaita. Remember we learned before, how do I know about the mishpat, that they took on mishpat, according to one opinion, ki yadaita marsav eleman yatzav as bonav as beisai. Beisai means the rest of the family, women as well. U'moishim afarik law. Bonav ledin, beisai lezdaka. The dayanim are run by bonim, who run the whole, the authority of bonim. But beisai lezdaka, the family has to follow the rules. Has to follow the rules. There is a big machlekes of showing whether goyim have a mitzvah tzedakah or not. The famous Rambam, the Rambam says, which in itself needs a lot of beer. The Rambam says if a goy wants to do any mitzvahs of the Torah, in Malachim there, if a goy wants to do any mitzvah in the Torah, they can as an einim mitzvah v'isa. If they want, they can give tzedakah. So it's clearly the Rambam holds that tzedakah is not one of their mitzvahs, even though in this pasuk gets tzedakah mishpat, it says tzedakah, and we mentioned it yesterday that tzedakah means literally tzedakah. Or tzedakah mean a mishpat that leads to tzedakah. In other words, a compromise or something like that. That's because chil Hashem, and depends what. According to this, if a bas noach was a murderer, loy taharig. It says like what from the hand of a man, as if the woman is a criminal in manner. I don't care who spilled the blood, anyone. You went further than the pasuk miyadish. No, that's talking about the Eidim. The beginning of the pasuk is who committed the crime. Doesn't matter who. Ema bas noach is into loy taharig. Follow this rule. Bas noach was mezana. No, the man should get killed, but not the woman. Why? Because the pasuk he uses al kenyaz avishas oviv. A person should leave behind his father, and it talks about a man. And so right? You have to. So that's how you learn that. But Noach also has to follow it to be with his wife, but it's all on the man. Then afterwards it says it become one. It's all the same. Learn ish. You could have said ish. Why does it say when it comes to immorality ish kol she'eb? Sorry, why say double ish? Like Abba says akusim to be marbe the goyim shemuz harin al arayis kisol. They're the same rules. Well, I think more of you learn from him. Hashanah limit for the others. Another pasuk that we learn by Tzavashem Lakim Leimar, and we learn from the word Leimar that the Novi said that they misbehave and the wives will leave them. Leimar is that Gila Arayis. That's we learn out the whole idea of Gila Arayis. Hasam Ba'Arayis they do. The Hacha Ba'Arayis they done. There's a difference between our arayis and their arayis. This is our arayis, and now we're adding on their arayis as well. What do you mean? The Tani say, what do you mean our arayis? That where it's missing, where they don't have, by them it's not an arayah. By them it's not an erva. But if they commit the aveda with a Yiddish woman, what is not considered an isa by goyim, they will be now found usher, and they'll get which misa? The misa that the Yid gets, because by goy there's no prescription for misa there because there's no aveda there. What are we talking about? A woman and arusa. Remember, we learned by a goy it's only a bulla's bowl, only a bulla's bowl, and arusa there's no bulla's bowl. But by Yid, arusa is even worse, right? You get skila. So if a goy consorted with a naida hamurasa, he'll get killed. And which punishment will he get? Skila. Normally he gets sayif, but this is since it doesn't account for them. So you want to say, Allah royis Yisrael. Nidin bedini Yisrael. So which case is that? First, we want to say that in this case here, we with the Yiddish woman, we have to follow Jewish rules. To Eidim, Hasra, Migra Gora. Well, if he does it with a guy, we'll kill him straight away. So the Yid, we're gonna make it so difficult to kill him. You do less who they don't have the Issa because there's no issues by a Naida Marasa. The Daniel Lubadina did done, but that what in this case he'll get judged an hour dinim. So the Gemara, you're telling me, but if she's a married woman, but then you do that, right? You tell me if it's a Yiddish woman who is married, he'll get his punishment, which is saif. It's only a Naida Marasa. They don't have a punishment for it. It's not an Aveda, but the Yiddish woman, he'll get skill. That's the question. What time we learned, Bo al Naida Marasa needs him a skill. Boy, as with the Yiddish woman, he gets a skill, right? Because since they don't have that Isser, it's only by Eden, so then you follow our Isser, which is he gets skill. Al H is Ish, need him a but an H is Ish, she gets chenek. But when we get chenek, they also have the Isser of Eishes Ish. And by them it's Sayif. So how come when because of the Yiddish woman, he gets a lesser punishment, he gets chenek? What's the logic in that? Ibadin do Sayifu, and if you're telling me that you follow his dinim and you get his punishment, even though it's a Yiddish woman, he should get Sayif. He should get cherev, not chenek. So we're going to say there's two stages in an Eishes Ish. One is where they go to the chuppah, but they didn't have yet any real intimacy. So by us, it's considered a married person, but by a goy, it's only bu'ula's ball. It's only once they had consummated the marriage. So that period between the chuppah and consummation of the marriage, if the goy consorts with the Yiddish woman and that who's in that stage, since that law doesn't apply to goyim, it's not yet a married woman, they'll have to follow Jewish law, and the Jewish law treats her like a married woman, so they'll get chenek. So that's what it means that a married woman also gets chenek. Is that short window? They do by them less lahu. They don't have that prohibition because they needed only bull's ball only once they had intimacy. That like ours. Bull's ball yeshlet. By goyim it's only once they have intimacy. They don't have. Tanya Kavos says Rabbi Yechanan. So we learned like Rabbi Yechanan that what? That the goy will get punished like the yid in those things where the goy doesn't have an abed at all. And it includes also nichzel lechuppah called erva. Shebezin shizom misaleh, and then muzaleh. Anything that a yid is also goes also. Ain't bezin shizom misaleh. Ain't bezin muzaleh even a meir. A meir holds that if we, in other words, those are royas where bezin will not kill you. It's only chorus incest. Incest is mainly chorus. A guy doesn't get killed for it. Only those that are made. Only those are royas that a bezin will give capital punishment. A daughter with a father, straight for whatever, a married woman, adultery, only then will a guy get killed. That's a mayor. The Chachamim say, what are you talking about? Hadba rois, yes, she ain't bezni, she yisol and mishnah, many are rois, incest. That bezni will not kill, it's only chorus. Ben noyach muzalein, yet they're also forbidden on it. Boal rois Yisrael, and then they continue. If he had it with a Yiddish woman, nidan bedini Yisrael, will get punished like a Yid. Boal rois ben noyach, ben noyach. Where do we have example where a goy has that is a unique din that applies only for goy of the yid, not for a goy and a goy? Only naida marasa. Now the question is the nachsh of nami, this brais and nami. Why don't the nichlas so lechuppah v'lo? Why don't you include also this one more case that she's married already according to our law, and yet by goy, so she's not married. I tell it to Menashe. This time follows Menashe. Rama kol misa amuru benoich ein elechenek. He holds that the goyim don't get tzayib, they get chenek. So therefore, what do you tell me about? Now, what he'll follow the Jewish law. What's the Jewish law by a married woman? What's the punishment? Chenek. And what's the goyish law by if you let's say the next stage, bulas ball also chenek. So there's no point. It's when there's a different mitzvah, skila. And chenek, even chenek.